As of right now, I believe President Donald Trump is on track for a re-election victory and potentially a landslide, partly due to the riots, but there are some reasons to believe he might not win, notably the mail-in voting fiasco. Now, Trump is warning of fraud, but inaccuracy is extremely likely. Lawsuits are extremely likely, and I think the whole process may be delayed, backed up, and it's going to get a bit...
Destiny, did you click this from the dumb fucking Twitch chat? Did I click what?
nuts. But if we go just on the current...
The temple video. Oh, no, somebody in DGG linked it, I think.
Polls, although Donald Trump is not leading nationally, the national vote doesn't matter that much. What matters are battleground statistics. And according to a CNN poll recently, Donald Trump is within 1 point of Joe Biden in 15 battleground states. And their poll had a margin of error of 4%, meaning Donald Trump may be winning. But another poll recently came out showing Donald Trump leading among independent voters with 10%. And that's huge. Amid all of this, something interesting is happening. The Democrats seem to be in complete disarray, and the GOP has announced no new 2020 platform. Why? They're going to be enthusiastically supporting Trump's agenda. That's right. The GOP...
Because they didn't get their last platform done, so they figured they'll just repeat the same shit they did before.
GOP is being crushed the same as the Democrats. I've never been a big fan of Republicans, but here I am looking at Donald Trump's second-term agenda list and saying it actually makes a ton of sense. I really like it. In fact, I think most rational Americans would look at Donald Trump's agenda list for his second term and say, looks pretty good. Notably, draining the swamp, congressional term limits, among many other things.
Draining the swamp? Are we up to 7 close Trump staffers and cabinet members being in federal prison? Is it 7? Or is it 6? Who all is it? It was like Manafort, Stone, Flynn... fuck, I don't even remember all the names. Who was the most recent guy? Like, oh yeah, Gates, Cohen. Yeah, his personal lawyer. Oh, and then Bannon recently. Like, how? I mean, I guess in some ways Trump is draining the swamp because his whole administration is being drained right into fucking federal prison. Like, holy shit.
Really kind of like it. So let's take a look at these stories. Why aren't the GOP putting out any new party platform? Well, many of these old crony Republicans were shoved out by Donald Trump, went running to the Democrats. Many of them are endorsing Joe Biden. You see, Donald Trump's re-election isn't just about him and his agenda. It's about finally crushing the establishment politics of the past several decades and bringing about something entirely different. Of course, many of these leftists and Democrats would claim it's fascism. It's not. But I do take issue with some of Trump's agenda, some of the items on his agenda list. But let's take a look at it. And I'm going to tell you this. Based on what he's put out, I'm actually fairly excited to see what Donald Trump can pull off if he does get re-elected. So let's take a look at what's going on with the GOP and Trump. But first, let's break down Trump's second-term agenda, now that I've said it a few million times. Before we get started, however, head over to timcast.com/donate if you'd like to support my work. There's many ways you can give, but the best thing you can do, subscribe to this channel. About half the people who watch my videos aren't subscribed. That means you're less likely to see my videos when they go live every day at 4 p.m. So just below the video player is a little red button that says subscribe. Give it a tap or a click, and now you're more likely to get my videos. But also, hit the like button, the notification bell, if you really want to help me out, share this video to help spread the word if you think I'm doing a good enough job. Here's a story from Town Hall.
The biggest virtue signal you'll ever see is people like this guy being too much of a fucking pussy to actually admit that you're just a Republican. Like, do you know why? Somebody linked a 538 thing earlier, and they were like, why are there no more moderate Republicans? There aren't any more moderate Republicans because all the moderate Republicans just call themselves centrists or center-left liberals. I don't know why they do this. Like, if people like Tim Pool would just admit, and like Dave Rubin is like, hey, you're a moderate Republican. It's okay. Like, you're a moderate Republican. Just admit it. So at least we can like meet there, right?
Ahead of RNC kickoff, President Trump releases his second-term agenda. I apologize that I've already said second-term agenda about 500 times. Well, we'll go through the list. Now, I want to show you what Trump is going to be putting forward for his re-election campaign. They say, ahead of the 2020 RNC convention, which will take place digitally in Charlotte, North Carolina, President Trump has released his agenda for a second term in the White House. Take a look below, courtesy of the Trump campaign. First, President Trump says he's fighting for you, and he wants to fight for jobs. He wants to create 10 million new jobs in 10 months. That's, of course, a good thing. I think anybody would agree. Can he pull it off? I think so. His first term, he did a pretty good job on the economy. I'm confident he'd be able to pull this off as well. He wants to create 1 million new small businesses. Well, that's going to require a cultural shift, but I believe it's also possible, especially considering COVID devastated many small businesses, shutting them down permanently. I believe Trump can make this happen. He wants to cut taxes to boost take-home pay and keep jobs in America. While typically I'm not a big fan of just generic tax cuts, I think they need a purpose, and I'm not a fan of generic tax increases either, like we're seeing from Biden. I would say right now, because of the devastation to our economy, it's a smart play to cut taxes. It just is. It just is. He wants to enact fair trade deals that protect American jobs. Protecting American jobs is a good thing. Made in America tax credits.
Hold on, I'm sorry, I wasn't listening because I was meme jacking for Twitter. What did he say? Okay.
COVID devastated many small businesses, shutting them down permanently. I believe Trump can make this happen. He wants to cut taxes to boost take-home pay and keep jobs in America. While typically I'm not a big fan of just generic tax cuts, I think they need a purpose, and I'm not a fan of generic tax increases either, like we're seeing from Biden. I would say right now, because of the devastation to our economy, it's a smart play to cut taxes. It just is. It just is. He wants to enact.
I don't know if cutting taxes right now really helps that much. I feel like what we need is stimulus. Like, woohoo, I'm unemployed, but my taxes are lowered. Like, but okay.
fair trade deals that protect American jobs. Protecting American jobs is a good thing. Made in America tax credits. I believe it's also a good thing. We want more jobs, more manufacturing in the U.S.
Can we go into what what was it called? It's like the U.S. Canada Mexico trade agreement or whatever, new NAFTA. The new NAFTA doesn't really do that much. It like slightly the USMCA. It slightly increases the percentage of like part sourcing. It like boosts some wages in Mexico. It wasn't this like huge like it really didn't do that much different than what NAFTA did before. The idea that we like radically renegotiated NAFTA is kind of dumb, but it's like NAFTA 2.0. Yeah, but okay.
Expanding opportunity zones. This is good as well. Opportunity zones, for those that aren't familiar, are economically embattled areas. And by creating tax incentives, they encourage businesses to come in and develop in areas that will help restore the economy and generally increase the quality of life for people who live there. Now, of course, I think the left would say that's going to gentrify the neighborhoods, for sure, but I agree. And he wants to continue the regulatory agenda for energy independence. Now, this, I believe, has a lot to do with fossil fuels and things of that nature. While I've not been the biggest fan, I just got to say, look, I'm somebody who's been traditionally liberal. I'm looking at a lot of these things. We'll keep going through the list. And I got to say, at a time like now, with this crisis and with COVID and with our economy being so devastated, I don't see a way around what Trump is proposing. We can't just ignore it and carry on like we did. We used to live in luxury. It was easy to say, yeah, we'll cut some of these things and focus on these things. It was easy when
Who says we're going to carry on like we did before?
economy was excellent, but now we got to focus on getting people back to work and helping people live. Of course, within his agenda, he wants to eradicate COVID-19, develop a vaccine by the end of 2020, return to normal by 2021, make all critical medicines and supplies for healthcare workers in the U.S., and refill stockpiles to prepare for future pandemics. All really good things. He wants to end our...
I like how we just assume that like Trump can and will do all these things. Like you're literally reading off like... Where is the analysis? Like, does this pass for critical analysis on YouTube? Is this? I'm asking this rhetorically because actually, it does. But like, this is literally like reading. Like, okay, guys, today I'm gonna give you. Today we're gonna do a video game review. Okay. Raid Shadow Legends offers 35 never before seen heroes every single month. That's amazing. Offers addictive gameplay with lots of variability in terms of how you do the game. Wow, that's really good. New and improved ways to play across multiple devices and connect with your friends. That's amazing. Let's see. Best art assets used in any online mobile platform. Wow, the best. That's cool. This is like what we're doing. Like, you're literally reading off of his like advertisement sheet. Like, shouldn't we be discussing like the efficacy? Like, is he actually going to be able to do any of this? Like, Trump has already had 4 years, like with an economy that was massively exploding. By the way, when he got into office, it was, and you can't say that it wasn't because Trump constantly fucking bragged that it was, and he would always point to this fucking low unemployment, and he would point to his massive fucking stock market gains that were all happening under Obama. So by the way, saying that it was good. Okay, well if that's good, then why didn't we get all of our jobs back? Where did our jobs go? Why didn't we get any manufacturing jobs back? When you had an amazing economy, you couldn't do it. Now you're going to tell me you're going to do it in a post-COVID-19 world? Like, why would I believe you? Like,
reliance on China. Bring back 1 million manufacturing jobs from China. Tax credits for companies that bring back jobs from China. Allow 100% expensing deductions for essential industries like pharmaceuticals and robotics who bring back their manufacturing to the U.S. No federal contracts for companies who outsource to China. Hold China fully accountable for allowing the virus to spread around the world. Healthcare. He wants to cut prescription drug prices, put patients and doctors back in charge of our healthcare system, lower healthcare insurance premiums, end surprise billing, cover all pre-existing conditions, protect Social Security and Medicare, protect our veterans, and provide world-class healthcare and services. Of course, I think all of these things would be supported by the average person.
yeah, no shit. But these aren't plans. These are fucking goals. These are fucking slogans. Like,
Whether or not he can make them happen is a bigger issue.
no. Whether or not he can make them happen is what the conversation should be about. Why are you just being a fucking Republican tool?
Education. He wants to provide school choice for every child in America and teach American exceptionalism. I'm not super concerned about American exceptionalism, but school choice is huge. For those that don't know what this is, it means that if you live in a certain area, you have to pay taxes that go to those schools. Sometimes you'll see someone living in a district, but across the street is a much nicer district, so their kids can't go to that school, even though it may be closer. School choice means individuals perhaps get a vouchers, the voucher program, where you decide where to apply, where to send that voucher, and your kid can go to that school. I actually really like school choice. But here's the best part.
It's such a god. School choice is so shit. Like, oh, you live in like what, Tim? What about all the other people stuck in that shitty school district? Like, imagine this. You live in fucking, your school district is horrible. You're in Chicago. You're in fucking Chirac. You're in fucking Fallujah. But across the street is the most beautiful, whitest, richest, purest Western values neighborhood. Shouldn't I be able to school choice my way over into that neighborhood? Okay, well, that's cool for that one kid, Tim. What about all the other kids that are left in that post-apocalyptic fucking destroyed school? Do you think, what about all of them? Do you really think every single kid there is just going to fucking school choice their way into the wealthy? Like, let's just, ignoring all of the problems with vouchers, ignoring the lottery system, ignoring how hard it is to transport your kid to those districts, ignoring all of those other problems, just by your one example, okay? What about all the other kids? Like, do we just not care about them, or?
Swamp. I'm sorry it took this long to get here, but we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about the end of the GOP, the end of the Democrats, and here is how Trump will pull it off, or at least how he aims to. He wants to pass congressional term limits. I am completely in favor of this. I've heard many arguments from people who say things like, if somebody wants to run and we want to elect them, then they should be allowed to do this. It's an argument against term limits. I thought about it. I disagree. Some have said you'll lose people like Rand Paul. He's awesome. Yeah, but it's okay because you'll also lose people like Nancy Pelosi. I believe we have way more do-nothing politicians in Congress and even in executive office, just like Joe Biden and stuff. We have way more do-nothings than we do passionate individuals who actually want it in. And while it is possible that the party will just cycle their preferred crony...
How much landmark legislation has Joe Biden authored? Why would you call Joe Biden a do-nothing politician? Why would you call Nancy Pelosi a do-nothing politician? Pelosi's got an unbelievable amount of shit done in the House. What are you talking about? What? I like how we don't bring up McConnell as a literal do-nothing politician who won't bring any of the legislation from the House to vote. Now, none of it would get passed anyway, but
politicians every two terms or whatever. I think it'll do more to get people into Congress and into office who are actually interested in being there, who are focused on serious issues. I am tired of the crony Chuck Schumers and Mitch McConnells and Joe Bidens and Nancy Pelosi's. I don't like any of them.
Oh, okay. He brought up McConnell at least. Good job.
There's a handful of people I really do like. It's more Republicans than Democrats because it's more to do with integrity than policy. But
more Republicans than Democrats. Okay. Destiny, Senate, not House. What? Wait, did I fuck something up? What did that guy say? He said McConnell wouldn't pass anything in the House. No, I said McConnell won't pass anything that comes from the House. Hold on, I'm sorry. Okay, maybe I don't know how anything in the Congress works. I'm sorry. Isn't legislation passed in the House, and then it goes to the Senate, and then the Senate decides whether or not they want to pass it or modify it and send it back to the House for them to pass again? Okay. So just checking. Sorry, let me unmute donations so you guys continue to interrupt me and throw my fucking...
a Swedish friend, okay? Love you, buddy.
I do. Sometimes things start in the Senate also. Yeah, sure, they could. Yes, that's true. Okay, sorry.
Enough. I think it's time to drain the swamp, and if Trump can get congressional term limits passed, I think it'd be fantastic. I'm not entirely convinced he can, however, because Congress has to vote on their own term limits, and they never do. Because our Congress is a swamp. It is a swamp. He also wants to end bureaucratic government bullying of U.S. citizens and small businesses, expose Washington's money trail and delicate...
And bureaucratic government bullying of U.S. citizens. I like how we just glance over that when Trump is literally on Twitter saying, stop buying Goodyear tires because the leader, the CEO of the company doesn't like me. I like how we just glance over that. We don't even bring up any of the massive attempts of censorship and destroying of businesses in America that Trump engages in when they don't like him. But, okay.
And delegate powers back to people and states. I love it. Drain the globalist swamp by taking on international organizations that hurt American citizens. Now, look, many of these proposals are relatively vague.
Shut the fuck up, movement, all right?
Twitter,
it's a
right now, consider
stupid
this.
fucking meme.
Oh, Twitter, of course.
Do nothing is a Trump slogan. He's just parroting.
And bureaucratic government bullying of U.S. citizens. Yeah, I wonder if that includes federal agents at fucking state protests, too.
Foreign citizens. I noticed this on Reddit. It's not just Twitter, it's Reddit, it's Facebook. I went to r/politics, and there was a post that said, Donald Trump is the worst. Donald Trump is awful. Orange man bad. And I went in and noticed a bunch of people who are European and Australian, and I got really, really angry. I am tired of being talked at by people who do not live in this country about what my opinions should be, about who the president should be.
Now, imagine how frustrating it is for you as an American to have foreign citizens talking about your president. Now, imagine how frustrating it is to be a foreign citizen and having things in your country determined by a foreign president. It kind of just goes hand in hand with being the United States. We're the leader of the free world, okay? Whether you like it or not. Our president has a big downstream impact on the politics and the decisions that other countries make. So it's not really that surprising that other countries have somewhat of a vested interest in who the president of the United States is. Now, as mad as you are about people on fucking Reddit having opinions about who our president should be, I wonder if Tim Pool has ever expressed any kind of interest in people in Russia having a big interest in who our president should be. Or I wonder if that's all a hoax to him. I wonder if he gets more mad about shit posting on Twitter than he does about shell companies being set up in the United States to spread false propaganda to get certain candidates elected or seen as less favorable.
Fat fucking mouth.
I don't know.
And I'm really angry that these big tech platforms will ban American citizens from speaking their mind about their own country. So what happens? Voters are influenced Our media is influenced by big tech platforms that allow foreign individuals to express their opinions, but not American citizens. Now, I don't know if Trump can do anything about this. It's not necessarily in his agenda, but I want to see Section 230 reform. I want to see an end to the foreign influence in our elections. I do not care about the opinions of people in France, Canada, Britain, Australia, New Zealand, or anywhere else. And that includes conservatives. I always thought it was particularly hilarious that we have so many Canadians interested in American politics. Now, that I get, okay? Canada, you're right next to America, so you guys get a free pass. People in the UK, I can say, okay, a little bit. But why do we have British people and Australians and New Zealanders and French people and Spanish and Italians going on social media and complaining about our president? Now, I get it. We're a very powerful country, but I'm sick of it. I'm sick of...
Why would... That's actually a really good point. I think that this illustrates that Tim Pool has a really good understanding of the world. Why would dumb fucks in Europe have an opinion about stuff that the United States engages in?
Movement, all right?
Like,
it's a stupid fucking meme.
can anybody think of anything that's happened over the past 7 years, maybe, that had like massive impacts across literally the entirety of Europe that like the United States foreign policy was involved in? I'm trying to think if I can think of it, just like at least like one thing, something that maybe started, I don't know, like maybe I'm just like picking a number out of thin air, like maybe about 7 years ago with a country, Sudia, Syrian, that maybe would have had like a literally like an unforeseen impact on political developments across literally every single country in Europe because of a massive amount of refugees. Fuck, I don't know. If I could think of at least one example, I feel like I could push back against Tim Bull here, but I can't think of anything. So yeah, I really don't know why like other countries are so invested in like American leadership or American foreign policy. It's really weird. I don't know.
the foreign interference in what should be American matters. I've never been a big fan of American foreign war, and that's another big issue. Donald Trump he's hitting the nail on the head with the hammer. So I'll tell you what, I like his agenda list, but I want to be critical of some stuff here. He goes on to say, defend our police, fully fund and hire more police and law enforcement officers. I do like this, but I want to make sure that reform is on that list. I understand not every cop is in favor of it, not every conservative or Democrat, but most people in this country are. And what that means is, when we fully fund and hire more officers, we do it in a way to make sure they're safer, that they're less likely to get hurt, that we can have more departments, social workers can be added to the list who can specialize in certain 911 calls, certain 311 calls. We don't just send out a cop for every single minor infraction. And that means more funding, more training, and it means more accountability too. But if it can make cops feel safer, if it can make them feel more secure, then good. Increase criminal penalties for assaults on law enforcement officers. This I don't care about. Don't hit cops. Don't attack cops, okay? I've been wrongly arrested before twice. It is not fun. But you remain calm. You go through the motions. It's annoying. And then ultimately, you go through the paperwork and deal with it. It's not perfect. In fact, I hate it. But don't attack cops. Prosecute drive-by shootings as acts of domestic terrorism. This I don't like. I don't like it at all. If crime's a crime, a crime's a crime. Drive-bys are already illegal. You don't need a special provision on top of it. Bring violent extremist groups like Antifa to justice. Here, yes, 100%. Endless cash bail and keep dangerous criminals locked up until trial. For the most part, yes, I agree. I don't like the idea of a blanket statement on cashless bail. I believe there are certain circumstances where we should err on the side of freedom, but dangerous criminals should be locked up. I know.
At least in Germany, the start of the new right was in 2008 with the economic crisis and criticism of the euro. I feel like I could be wrong. I don't follow your politics like super close, but didn't the AFT bolster itself a lot on the backs of that refugee crisis? Wasn't like a lot of their advertisements and shit like pictures of like the long lines of like men and shit? Like I thought that the AFT got like pretty big off the backs of that like refugee crisis. I feel like a lot of right leaning. What was the name of that girl in France? The crazy girl that ran against Macron, Marie Le Pen. Like I feel like a lot of their shit came off of. I'm sorry, maybe I should be more explicit with what I'm talking about. I'm sorry. U.S. foreign policy has massive downstream impacts of stuff that goes on in Europe because if we fuck around a lot in the Middle East, sometimes that blowback can be spread across Europe. So the U.S. was like, I would say like a decently big part of like supporting people related to the Syrian refugee crisis, and that refugee crisis had massive right-leaning pushes across all of Europe because all of those people immigrated into Europe. Those people didn't come to the fucking United States. Regardless of what conservatives tell you, we have like 800,000 total fucking refugees in the U.S. Okay, we don't have like tens of millions of people showing up at our borders, demanding entrance or whatever, like you guys had to deal with in Europe when Syria literally failed as a state. And a lot of right-leaning movements like kind of started to pick up steam, I think, across Europe as in response to the 2013 Syrian refugee crisis. Personally, nuclear take for me, I don't really have the qualifications to say this, I feel like Brexit probably wouldn't have happened without the 2013 Syrian refugee crisis. Like, that Brexit was so close that I feel like if you take away that, you guys are still part of the EU. So this idea that the US leadership has no impact on, like, European politics is so fucking stupid. Like, you're clueless. You have no idea what the fuck you're talking about and how influential America is in setting foreign policy across the world. If you're going to say something stupid like, why do people in other countries care who the U.S. president is? Like, well, I don't know. Like, the U.S. is like part of the UN Security Council. We sit at the head of NATO. Like, we make massively influential decisions about how to deal with things in the Middle East. Like, I don't know. It seems like other countries are probably pretty invested in our leadership, but okay. Yeah, not to mention like the USD, the United States dollar is literally like the global reserve currency and everything. Like, but okay, whatever, dude.
until proven guilty.
I hate. Why? I don't like watching it. This isn't fun for me. I just hate these people. These people are just stupid. Like it's not even like. I feel like this feels like. I feel like doing politics today would be like if we were to go back 8 years when everybody's like, Destiny, you should commentate Silver League people playing StarCraft 2. Like, oh my God, wouldn't it be so fun to commentate like Bronze League games? And it's like, it's fun for like a game or two. But then it's just like, okay, well, this guy's floating 3,000 minerals at 5 minutes somehow. Or like, okay, well, this game is 25 minutes long and this guy is still on 2 bases. Like, it's just.
It's the big challenge. But, I don't know, danger? I typically err on the side of freedom over security, right? It is better that 10 guilty persons escape than 1 innocent person suffer. But we should also have a right to a speedy trial. So I believe along with any provision that removes cashless bail, we need to make sure that we have immediate hearings for this and trials as quickly as we can. And illegal immigration and protect American workers. Block illegal immigrants from becoming eligible for taxpayer-funded welfare, healthcare, and free college tuition, I agree.
Don't you think that there needs to be a counter argument? I mean, yeah, but I mean, like, the counter argument is literally like, you're dumb. Like, all of your facts are just wrong, or you just don't know what you're talking about. Like, you don't understand. This is the problem, okay? He hasn't given an argument for any of this that an intelligent person can, like, have a counter argument to. The counter argument is usually just like, hey, bro, you don't know what you're talking about, right? Like, for instance, let's say somebody were to come in a chat and be like, France and Germany are the same country. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, well, don't you think it's important to provide, like, a good counter argument for that? Like, I mean, like, well, they're not. Like, it's just not, bro. And it's like, is that really an argument? Like, I don't know what to say to you.
Language gorillas failing math questions. It would be so fun. The XT.
Mandatory deportation.
But look at the ratio. Yeah, I know.
Shut the fuck up, movement, alright? It's a stupid fucking meme.
Slurps really
For
loudly.
non-citizen gang members, 100%. Dismantle human trafficking, absolutely. End sanctuary cities to restore our neighborhoods and protect our families, yes. Prohibit American companies from replacing U.S. citizens with lower-cost foreign workers, agreed. Require new immigrants to be able to support themselves financially, yes. Innovate for the future. Launch the Space Force. Establish permanent manned presence on the moon, and send the first manned mission to Mars, 100%. Build the world's greatest infrastructure system, I don't know what that means, whatever. Win the race to 5G and establish a national high-speed wireless internet network, agreed. Continue to lead the world in access to the cleanest drinking water and cleanest air, yes please. Partner with other nations to clean up our planet's oceans, yes, absolutely. Man, I've been talking about this stuff nonstop for years. Environmentalism, cleaning up the oceans, protecting our environment, clean air.
Doesn't Trump still believe that climate change is a hoax pushed by China to make our manufacturing non-competitive? Are we just not going to bring up any of that? Are we just not going to mention this?
Clean drinking water, better technology, better infrastructure. Donald Trump's doing his best to get people like me to vote for him. American first foreign policy. Stop endless wars and bring our troops home. You better do it. That's what I want to hear. Get allies to pay their...
But we're still bombing in Yemen. But we still have the same number of people in Afghanistan, even though we said we were bringing people back. But we still bombed Syria.
fair share. Maintain and expand America's unrivaled military strength. Wipe out global terrorists who threaten to harm Americans. Build a great cybersecurity defense system and missile defense system. Now I'll tell you what.
Stop
We need a good
stuffing
military.
your
Fine.
fat
I'm kind of
fucking
meh on
mouth.
this.
This guy sure does seem smart, right, chat?
Yeah, Trump was literally still championing like incandescent bulbs. Wasn't there a thing where he was talking about like, oh, they look nicer, they look nicer? Hold on, let me make sure I'm not making this up. Like, this is the guy who's gonna lead us to like...
The light bulb. People said, what's with the light bulb? I said, here's the story. And I looked at it.
You're a genius,
The
dude.
bulb that we're being forced
Why
to use.
people
Number one,
happy?
to me, most importantly, the light's no good. I always look orange. And so do you. The light is the worst. But number two, it's many times more expensive than that old incandescent bulb that worked very well. And very importantly, I don't know if you know this, they have warnings. If it breaks, it's considered a hazardous waste site. It's gases inside. And read what they say. If it breaks, bring it to your local whatever, have it wrapped, have it this. What are we doing? What are we doing? So we're going to...
Isn't the I remember buying these bulbs for my house literally 12 years ago. Isn't the energy usage of an LED bulb like...
Because I'm putting 100%.
I'm not exaggerating, but isn't it... Or I don't mean to sound exaggerated. Isn't it literally like 98 or 99% less than an incandescent? Is it... People are saying 10 times? I thought it was literally like 100 times different. Like... and if you ever want to actually test this on your own, you can leave... I'm pretty sure you can leave an LED on forever. And you can touch it and it's not hot. But if you touch like the normal light bulbs, they're hot in like fucking 10 seconds or whatever. I don't even know how many of you guys remember these from like our childhood. Not even 10 seconds, like a few seconds, like you touch it and it's like getting hot.
Sell that, but we're also going to sell incandescent bulbs, and people are so happy about it. It's really been pretty.
This is the guy that's going to lead us into cleaner energy in the future. And I'm sorry, my dudes, but like light bulbs, that's easy. Like this is an easy thing. The hard things, if you really want to deal with climate change, are like time to stop flying so many airplanes. Okay, people that travel for business on fucking flights, probably one of the. I'm pretty sure flying in airplanes is one of the worst things you can do for the environment. There's like 3 big things. Oh, has the RNC stuff on? Okay, I don't know. Fuck, the Tim Pool's on. I'm pretty sure flying in airplanes is one of the worst things you can do for the environment. Agriculture, I think, is pretty big. Massive cruisers. The big cruisers are bad, but it's like overall a relatively small percentage. But where's the RNC shit? Sorry, fuck this guy. What a dumbass. Oh, flying, driving, and agriculture. It might be those 3 things, I think. Oh, and kids and having children, obviously, but that's kind of cheating, right?
Torture your cock and balls must endure. 2 spaces forward, your cock will be stretched.